right. Okay.
Let's kick this off. All right. Greetings from the heavy metal citadel. You've got your host, Chort, the crop investor, and
Chernoglav, the hero with the silver mustache.
we are here with a very special guest, as we always say, by the way.
Of course.
W from Sumerian Tombs. How are you, mate?
I'm fine, thanks. Having my first beer of the day, so let's start.
Great.
Yeah, I'm having my like 7th and or 6th, so
What are you drinking, W?
this interview is going to be shaky.
Okay.
What are you drinking?
So a lot of banter going back and forth. Brinkhoff's #1 from Dortmund.
Yes, the sponsor of the show, by the way.
Yes. It's
Hopefully.
a classic one.
No,
We'll have to go there to try it.
thank you so much for joining, mate. For those of you who don't know, Sumerian Tombs very new on the scene. If you don't mind, we're going to read a little bit of a blurb in terms of a background on what you guys are.
Rising from the crypts of West German necropolises, Sumerian Tombs plays an epic and furious style of vampiric black metal. Their highly melodic yet aggressive music is a deep bow to the second wave of black metal, which shouldn't be lumped with the romantic sound of other acts. What we have here is much more ancient, primitive, and pervasive, and infernal, and this is reflected in a more orthodox and demonic sound. Their self-titled debut is a follow-up from their demo EP, As Sumer Thrones at Night, and tells the continuation of an ancient, long-forgotten tale of vampiric wind spirits from Sumerian mythology. The album follows a desperate pilgrim on his journey into the ancient tombs of Sumer, yearning for their hidden wisdom and powers far beyond human imagination. What will he find in the darkness?
And I'm not going to do the rest like that because that was arduous, 6 beers deep. But no, mate, we love the sound. We love we actually like the EP as well, but also your latest release that you guys just have out. The EP, for those of you who don't know, Sumer Thrones at Night. And it tells a continuation of an ancient, long forgotten tale of vampiric wind spirits from Sumerian mythology, which, by the way, all of this fucking kicks ass.
Yeah,
it's literally everything I fucking love.
We love history in our metal, don't we?
History and mythology
and
twining everything together. And the album follows a desperate pilgrim on his journey into the ancient tombs of Sumer, yearning for their hidden wisdom and powers far beyond human imagination. So that's fucking epic.
Yeah.
That is, I don't know who came up with that.
Does that sound right?
Does that sound right, by the way?
Yeah, I think Kay wrote a pretty solid statement on that one. So
yeah, that's
it was his idea to write this poem, so to speak, or this epic of Gilgamesh, if you will.
Yes, absolutely.
Little throw at little bone or little hint.
No, I actually caught that and I loved it. And there's a couple of questions I was going to ask about that, which we'll get to later. But in terms of, so I did want to pick up one thing before I start into the whole traditional, who started the band and why. The EP does have quite a different sound from the LP, the self-titled LP, because like the EP one, As Sumer at Thrones at Night, it's a little bit more sort of traditional, gritty, raw black metal. Whereas the new one is a little bit more, I would almost say like operatic and melodic, but it still has that same sort of crossover. So was that on purpose? Did you guys sort of wanted to go a little bit more maybe polished, I suppose, as opposed to the sort of grittier, raw black metal sound?
You've got to look at it from the other way around, because we started with the album and then the production time was delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. Especially with the LP version, because as you know, vinyl is rare at stock at the moment, and so then we came up with the idea, or we asked ourselves, what couldn't we do in the meantime? And then we started with the preparation of the EP. So actually, the EP was produced after the album.
Oh wow! Okay.
And yeah, my idea was then to basically have this pre-story, or this in the album, the question is what's in these tombs, and how does the protagonist basically get access to that powers or that wisdom, if you want. The demo or the EP asked the question, how get those evil spirits or these evil entities, how do they get into this tomb? So
like
it's basically it's a prequel, it's a prehistory, hard cut, time skip, and then you have the album.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I think
And therefore also the sound was we intended to have it more primitive, basically, and
Yeah.
more
Got it.
raw.
It definitely came through that way, and I think maybe that, now that you explain it that way, it definitely kind of goes into that storyline. It's almost like preamble, then you have the thick story, and then whatever the next album is the next album. But yeah, no, it sounds great. I was going to say, with the LP, very atmospheric. You got, again, your traditional black metal, but also much sort of fuller ambient, clearer sound almost. And yeah, love the vocals, mate. Tempo changes and the echoes, especially in Blood Spells of the Ancient, fucking great. So now that I've gotten all of that out of the way, who actually started the band? Why'd you guys start it up?
So basically, Kay started the band, or he had the idea of playing this kind of music, or he has I don't know if this already been published before, but he's the guitarist of Beltes from Germany as well.
Okay.
So he had then the idea to have a side project, which he then titled Sumerian Tombs. And I'm also the vocalist of another death metal band from Cologne. So and he came for a visit. We had a few beers, and he then showed me the demos he recorded. And he was like, "And what do you say?" And I was like, "Okay, so you want me to sing on this?" And then he went like, "Oh, okay, I think that's that then." So
Great.
he started with the first 3 or 4 songs, showed them
Okay.
to me, and I was instantly hooked. So these 3 or 4 songs were then later become Blood Spell of the Ancient, Vampiric Dominance, and Light of Death, I think. Yes. So we never had like the ambition to okay, we two sit together and now we have to produce or to arrange some music to go this path. It's just like
This
kind of
happened.
happened.
No, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, what were the sort of major influences then? I mean, I know you came in sort of after the fact, but in terms of the Sumerian mythology, anti-Christianity, I mean, there's Sumeria, the black metal band from the US. Sort of what pushed you guys to create this specifically for sort of this Sumerian mythology?
We went for the Sumerian mythology because vampiric thematics or vampiric themes are a little bit like drawn thin. So with the classic vampires like Bram Stoker's and more like the romantic vampire, like the vampire that the chicks fall in love with and who glitters in the sunlight.
Not your
But
style.
since we know we both have this preference for the second wave of black metal, the idea was to have the music a little bit more raw, and therefore the idea was, okay, we want to have the thematics of the vampires, but we want to have it raw and initial. So where we go from there? So we basically started a Google search marathon on the first vampire myths, and everything else started from there. So Tiamat, of course, is one of the bigger influences, I would say. But for K, definitely the German Nagelfar. Gates of Ishtar, and then current bands like Lamp of Murmur or Departure Chandelier and stuff like that. So more the raw black metal sound that is now current, very basically on a renaissance.
Okay, so do you guys have like even other sort of maybe more epic ancient historical black metal bands like Nile and Crescent, or is it
to speak of a current band, for example, Vehement?
Yeah.
Or
Yes,
Vehement,
the French one.
Yeah, that's the right current one, right? And Held 4K. 4K is definitely Crescent. So more historical bands, or bands that put more emphasis on a historical like background, or I don't know. We are not a historical band, we took basically a story or a setting and put that into a certain environment, so to speak.
Yeah,
right.
No, it's true, to build up the atmosphere. And I guess there's a difference between those who are completely devoted to studying it like Carl Sanders from
No,
Nile.
no, no.
He's even got a master's in
Yeah,
Egyptology.
yeah.
And there's a
No, no,
difference
no.
obviously between being influenced by that and really, just going to school for it, isn't it?
No, we are no historians or anthropologists, so we just started with the interest and then took it from there. Which way. We basically had the same journey as the protagonist of the album. We didn't know what would await us, so we just started, and everything then came by.
Yeah. And speaking of that, so the protagonist of the album does he arrive at the ziggurat that's on the front cover of the latest release? What's the
Exactly.
significance of that?
The ziggurat, you mean?
Yes.
I mean, ziggurats are basically like these abandoned temples. As I mentioned earlier, you have this talking about or referencing back to the time skip from the EP to the album. So basically, you have a abandoned civilization and an abandoned temple or tomb, if you will, where the nameless pilgrim or this pilgrim enters then the story. For the ziggurat, we've given, I think, most of it, or the illustrator Ben Half, who did also like an amazing job for bands like Atlantean Codex, Belters, other bands. We had a rough idea with him, talked about that, and then he basically captured everything into this atmospheric piece of art, if you want. It's not a get off the shelf piece of work. He specifically painted this for us, and it sets the mood quite
amazing.
well, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, it looks amazing. I'm just gonna say, and you definitely get that vibe, even just from sort of the aesthetics of it all.
Yeah.
But having said that, so what is the working dynamic like for all you guys? I mean, I'm assuming it's all very sort of new and fresh. So what's the working dynamic like, and what's sort of the songwriting process like for the band?
Kay is basically the head or the mastermind behind everything. So he writes the basic framework of the songs, and then we basically come together and we brainstorm and maybe talk about structures, where could be something more tightened, where could be something different, where can we leave out a part or change something. But the bulk of the basically sound design comes from Kay.
Yeah.
And sorry for that. Sometimes we discard whole songs. So I think for the EP we trashed 3 songs before we had the final versions of that. After that, basically we start as a standard recording process. So drums, then on base of that comes the bass, guitars, and vocals at last. So fun thing is we never had even a practice hour, or something like that. Everything during Corona happened between, first of all, Kay and me, and then was basically transferred to the other guys, who then recorded and gave their input as well. The only time we met as a whole band was basically during the picture.
Wow.
Well, that's the sign of the times.
That's crazy, man. Wow.
Yeah, sending, I guess, the tracks back and forth to each other, and luckily technology allows nowadays for that kind of creation.
Yeah. Thanks COVID-19 for that.
Yeah, accelerating.
I mean, it seems like a new process, but to be honest, I'm a little bit more like old school guy, or the other guys as well. So I think the preference would have been to, meet in a practice room and then work the songs out that way. But yeah, you got to work with the things you have and not the things you wish you had.
And is that how you got the guest vocalists on the album as well? Is it you invited them, they liked the sound? I know, for example, you've got Vlad from the Crimson Ghosts as well on the album, which is a horror punk band. So how did those kind of connections come about?
Okay. Well, the bunch of us is based in Cologne, so Western Germany, city Cologne, and the Crimson Ghosts are the horror punk band from Cologne, and the singer Vlad is a good friend of mine. I know him for years. So the first thing is the obvious name reference, Vlad Tepes. So it's even more vampiric for that. So the pseudonym is perfect. So that fits. Then, like I said earlier, he's a good friend of mine. Later we have a we will grill up some burgers and he will join us as well. So
Today, you mean?
yes, later today.
Sounds like a
And
great.
sometimes that they had on the 2010 album Generation Gore, they had a song called Dein Nachtmar, which translates to Your Nightmare. And on that record, they have a they on that song they have a guest vocalist part from Totenmond, the German crustcore band.
Okay.
And for live performances around Cologne, I then jump in for that as well. So there's a back and forth going on, basically.
Oh, got it. Yes. So you do some of the vocals for that as well, because
Yeah, if they play in Cologne or in the approximately near Cologne somewhere.
yeah.
And the thing with Singultus from Endstille, yeah, I met him on accident, basically. I was once a driver for Urfaust when we went to a festival in Munich, Dark Eastern Metal meeting. And there Endstille also played as one of the headliners. And basically we met in the backstage area of that festival and had a few drinks, and one thing led to another. And for the song Altars of the Past, Kay wrote this cool dynamic song, which in my opinion had this perfect opportunity to have a duet, basically, or going back and forth, with the wanderer or the pilgrim inside the cigarette, and then the demonic entities inside this tomb or in this ziggurat. So basically he represents the demonic spirits inside of this tomb.
Okay. Yeah, it's really
So
interesting.
to give a little more context to the lyrical dynamic.
Yeah, which is great. And I mean,
Yeah.
in terms of a live show, do you want to also kind of bring that, presence, bring that story
Yeah, the atmosphere.
to the stage, or do you envision more of it as a straightforward, pummel your face kind of black metal band?
Yeah.
What level of theatrics would is ideal for you? So for Sumerian Tombs.
I mean, like I said earlier, we didn't even had one band practice before, so we had no talk about that. But Case and my vision basically involves a lot of theatricality. So like spilling blood and I don't know. We never had to talk about
Please do that
topic.
though, because I'm definitely.
Yeah.
If you have an argument, please call us, because I will support you fully in that.
Do you need a ziggurat built? Because I know someone.
We will build you anything.
Yeah.
So maybe it will go something towards Wartime shows or something like Gorgoroth, old school Gorgoroth songs.
Yes.
I don't expect like no motion shows for Mugwa sets or stuff like that. So I think there will be a lot of dynamics going on stage. Maybe even some human sacrifices. I don't know.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, well then we'll definitely be there.
Lovely. I will offer up Chort.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, obviously this all happened quite organically, happened quite fast. You're with the record label now. Is there any kind of, I'm thinking, is there a favorite mistake you ever had as a band so far? So for example, this is something which was really tough at the time. Maybe you felt you could have done it in a different way, but in the end made you stronger, or made you learn something else. So, for example, we talked before to a band who decided to, listen to, one person in that and just go for it, don't have any input. And the band just basically went off the rails because that one leader of the band kind of went off the rails as well. So is there something similar for Sumerian Tombs where you learned from and you grew stronger as a band?
Vampires don't make mistakes.
That's a great answer.
Okay, cool. Moving on. moving on.
No, I mean, like I said, we are too young of a band to make any mistakes in that regard. So I think there's potential to grow, of course, like in every other band. One thing maybe to mention is that the first idea of the band was only Kay and me, and therefore we tried to stay anonymous, basically only have the initials or these at one point we thought of like having pseudonyms similar to blasphemy, like Caller of the Storms or stuff like that, and basically hide behind that anonymity. But as I mentioned earlier, with the other members of the band, they didn't agree to that, and they didn't want any pseudonyms at all. But one thing led to another. Excuse me?
I said nothing is a secret nowadays with the internet.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. And then one thing led to another, and one idiot online Zine magazine operator, redactor, I don't know how you call it, the guy who puts in words into internet.
Yeah.
To talk to basically say it like Arnold. He then entered some of the names, and there was a big mix up of identity. So basically, K was then identified as somebody else, and then our drummer was then also identified as somebody else. And that was one mistake, you could say.
It's not great when people go in, with big assumptions. So
exactly. So in one interview, I think 1 week ago, we cleared up everything. So within the next few days, everything will be cleared up in Metallum as well, I think, in the Metal Archives.
And Metal Archives updated.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Okay. Then before we start the fun stuff, like the fan comments and whatnot, what Sumerian god or demon would you be, or any kind of demon or god would you be if you could be?
My first reaction to that question would be Pazuzu, definitely. So
brilliant. Absolutely the best god you could have picked.
I'm a big fan of the Exorcist movies, so I mean, this was taken out of context for that movie, but I think he's the first. If you compare like the Baphomet pictures you take from modern Satanism and compare those to the first sculpts of Pazuzu, there you have it, where you want to go.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Wow. Okay, cool. I thought you were going to say something like that, so I'm glad I got it. Okay, we're going to do 3 things now. We're going to just hammer out a quick few fan comments that we've got from the releases you guys had. Then we're going to ask you about some bands that you might want to tour, drink, and collab with. And then before you go, you're going to have to pick 3 albums before you go to the Gallows poll. So first fan comments. This comes from Yo's Mama. Apparently, I don't know, it's spelled Y-O-U-Z. And they said, and I quote, about 13 minutes into the album, I took the top half of a buck skull and put it on my head and doused myself in blood. I mean, if that doesn't sort of outline the feeling you get from that album, I don't know what does. So that's, there you go. Someone apparently did that, or not.
Yes, we do this. We do the same thing, but after 12 minutes.
I was gonna say, this is a great idea for the show, by the way, for a live show.
To hand out buckets of blood to the audience.
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually would work in well. Exurb Sanctus, and they said this sounds like it's pulled directly out of Sumerian ruins. Absolutely fucking amazing. Which 100% echo that. So there you go.
And then we have a final one as well, which I like because this is called From Discharge Get Back. He said, and I quote, doom metal with a post-rock atmosphere. And I was wondering, really?
Yeah.
Where does he hear that?
I don't know where the fuck that's coming from.
But
the truth is, I don't think he understood the music, because we are not a doom metal with post-rock atmosphere band, because we are a post-metal band with doom rock atmosphere.
Excellent answer, and I like that. Not restricted by genres.
God, I love this guy. Okay, brilliant. So that was the fan comments. In terms of the next bit, tour, drink, collab. So name one band you want to tour with, past, present, whatever. One band you want to drink with. One band you want to do a collaboration with.
Okay. So one band I want to tour with, because it fits thematically, would be Marduk, if they play a Nightwing only set.
Brutal. Fucking brutal.
Because there we would have a perfect combination of vampirism and Vlad Tepes themes. Drink, I would say, with either Motorhead, if Lemmy would still be alive. So rest in peace for that.
Yeah,
Fucking hell.
you're not the only one. I think everyone wants
And
to hang out
of
with Lemmy.
course, yeah, cheers to Lemmy. So,
Cheers.
and drink with Urfaust because Verderber or Jim, the drummer of Urfaust, is a dear friend, and he used to live in Cologne. Now lives with his family in the Netherlands.
Oh wow.
And then the collaboration would be either Cult of Fire or Order of Nosferat.
Vault of Fire, fucking brilliant. I think that again would fit very, very.
Yeah, different type of mythology.
Yeah, but
still
very much fits so with. Yeah, no, I would fucking.
same vibes, same. You know, it's a good idea.
Hell yeah. Brilliant. Okay. And then last but not least, so you have one day, you got to listen to 3 albums. Although I think I went a little bit crazy over here because I was just excited. There might be 4 albums. So you're going to the gallows pole. You got one day and you got to choose. Okay. So you got to choose between one or the other. And there's going to be 4 sets of these. So you either choose Immortal, At the Heart of Winter, or Gorgoroth's Under the Sign of Hell.
Phew, that's a hard one.
There's,
on.
I think they should all be hard, hopefully.
Oh, for me, this was.
I mean, since I'm more the atmospheric guy and I heard the album first, for me it probably would be the At Heart of Winter.
Yes, good
Yeah.
choice. Yeah.
Maybe this is a like blasphemic answer for all the hardcore old school black metal fans out there.
No, it's not. We disagreed on this, so it's fine.
yeah, it's fine.
I'm 100% with you.
Yeah, whatever.
I think for K would be probably the Gorgoroth.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. And okay, second set here, we've got Take, Hordaland's Dödsgevad, or Satyricon Nemesis Divina.
Oh, come on, now you're killing me. Because the Talker album was one of my first black metal albums ever.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Ooh, the nostalgia.
Nemesis Divina. I saw Satyricon a few years back with a special Nemesis Divina show, and I was a bit disappointed because I rushed through the whole Nemesis Divina part to get to Black Crow and Tombstone. Like, fuck off.
Okay.
And I think I would pick, but then Mother North. I mean, you can't go wrong with Mother North.
Mother North.
But on the other hand, Hell knows fuck metal.
Tough one. Yeah, I don't know what I would pick. Either.
I would probably still pick Satyricon.
Yeah, I think
okay, cool.
we also disagree.
Yeah, absolutely 2 for 0 for me. All right, third set: Dark Throne, Blaze in the Northern Sky, or Mayhem, the Mysterious Dome.
I've seen the Mysterious Dome Satana set. It was fucking brilliant.
Okay,
so therefore I would go for Dark Throne.
Yeah.
Great choice. Yep. Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Can't beat it.
Last one, and this is probably gonna be hard because you guys are
Bathory.
Bathory fans. So
Yeah, this will be maybe even harder. So you want Bathory self-titled, or do you want Blood, Fire, Death?
Blood, Fire, Death. Because
okay.
in the final moment of the title track, I would completely lose myself.
Yeah, agreed.
brilliant.
So
man.
there you see where the atmospheric part comes from.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the early. I love the self-title. I love the Return. I love Twilight of the God. Everything until the Twilight of the Gods is just brilliant. Then we do not talk about the Requiem and Octagon stuff. And
Hush.
hush. Exactly. I mean, they are basically raw punk rock albums, if you want. But for that I will 100% go for the Blood, Fire, Death.
Brilliant, W. Well, listen, man, thanks so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. We're going to make sure our listeners are going to listen to Sumerian Tombs self-title, just out. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. Loving the photo, man, everything. So we look forward to seeing you guys live, hopefully. And I know UK has been fucking European bands, but if you guys get a chance to come out to London or the UK, anywhere, we'll fucking come and we'll
be at the front row to be drenched with blood.
Preferably,
yeah. We were actually scheduled for the North of the Wall festival, but then Brexit happened and that was cancelled. So
sorry about that. Not my fault. I voted the other way.
I voted the other way too. No, but thanks for doing this, man. So this is your sort of moment. If you want to mention anything, I know you guys got Bandcamp, so guys, head over to Bandcamp. Get the LP, get any kind of merch. Anything else that you want to mention?
And the other ways to support you guys,
yeah, nothing else to add up to that.
Brilliant. Cool, W. Thanks so much, dude. And yeah, just we're gonna have you back on sometime later, I guess.
Hopefully so. Take care, have a great weekend, and drink more beer.
Amen.
And you as well. Cheers.
All right, guys, that was an interview with W from Sumerian Tombs. And now we're going to play you two of their songs from the latest LP, self-titled Sumerian Tombs. First one is going to be Tomb Lurker, and then we're going to put on Vampiric Dominance. Thanks again, W, and I hope you guys enjoy this.